Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another third-party unlicensed 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review video. Now today we are going to be taking a look at none other than the black suited version of the Transcendent by a company known as By Art. Now, recently we reviewed their regular Superman. This is basically a third-party option for a Zack Snyder's Justice League black suit soups. Now, you may be sitting here thinking, well, that's all fine and dandy, but Hot Toys is literally about to give us one. Why would we pick up a third-party version? And I'm right there with you. I don't honestly know. But the reason I picked him up was because of the awesome diorama display base, and you'll see what I mean in just a second. Now, I got mine from Comic Sanctorum, but do bear in mind, this figure is third party, he's unlicensed, that means he's unofficial product. I have put the link in the description below for your reference purposes only, but do bear in mind, this is not a promotional video, this is a figure review on a product I picked up for my own personal collection. What we are going to do now though is get the box laying flat in the light box and do the unboxing. Here of course we have the box art and it's relatively straightforward. A silhouetted image of soups with this black and white motif, black Transcendent down below, the same thing on the side, plus on the back another silhouetted image, this time with his cape kind of coming down and blending into what appears to be the Kent farmstead. A very interesting piece of artwork. Now, upon opening up the box, you are treated to a bunch of information, and you do get a sneak peek at the gorgeous Justice League display base. It's of course the Hall of Justice. We will touch on that a lot more in just a second. But here we have Superman himself. Now, if you did happen to catch my review of the original Transcendent, you'll know that, yeah, I was a fan. Was it perfect? No, it definitely wasn't. I far prefer the Hot Toys one, and I guess we'll find out throughout the course of this video if they've made any improvements with the black suit version. Now, we do have one foam block up on top, and then another down below, so what we are going to do now is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Here we have all the parts and pieces, and off camera I've assembled the broken Hall of Justice display base. Obviously this is supposed to be the rubbles of the Hall of Justice. Now technically this is based off the Nightmare scene, so this should be accompanying a red and blue suit Superman, so I'm pretty sure in my final Justice League display that's exactly what I'm going to do. You can remove some parts and pieces if you want to. The Justice League sign is fully modular, so too are the brick walls they attach via magnets, and even these steel rebars can be taken out. Now you do have 3 up the front, you have a couple more spots such as right here to install a few more, but I thought 3 was more than enough. These are made of plastic, however you do have a couple of metal wires protruding out of this brick wall, so do be careful not to spike yourself. I speak from experience. Now this is painted very nicely. There is a ton of weathering, there's a ton of texture on the surface, and the sculpt is on point throughout the entire thing. It literally looks like the Hall of Justice has crumbled in front of me. Now you do get a couple of additional parts and pieces for the display base, starting off with this dynamic flight stand. Now you may be thinking, oh, that's a bit weird. Where's the waist clamp? Well, very simply, there isn't one. This is magnetic. And yes, it is strong enough to hold up Superman if you're not doing it on a funky angle in front of the camera. You'll have to take my word for it. You'll see that a little bit later in the video. But incorporating magnets is something that I never thought I'd see a third-party company do before Hot Toys. Now, if you do want some additional height with your flight stand, you can install this into the back of the display base and then screw this piece into it to give you an extra boost. For me, I think the regular flight stand is more than serviceable, but if you want a little bit of extra height, you do have that option. You also have 2 different head sculpts, and as far as I'm aware, these are brand new. They're not recasts of anything. Now, this is the standard head sculpt. From certain angles, I think the likeness is on point. From others, I start to lose it a little bit, but when he's looking down, oh yes, he looks all kinds of mean. The skin texture is quite well done, the eyes are painted well, and the hair is sculpted to perfection. Now, this one does have a bit of a goofy expression, but it's technically accurate to how he looked when he was blasting Steppenwolf. Now, I also like the way this is sculpted. It does have a light up feature which is a little bit finicky, but it is this internal section. As you can see, the lights are currently on. Now, if you do happen to have this on the body, all you have to do is tap the head and it should light up, but I'm pretty sure the batteries are unfortunately dying on mine. I do like the expression, and I think the likeness is slightly better on this one. Do let me know which of the two you prefer down in the comments below. Now, of course, you get a full array of Superman hands, but these are painted quite nicely. You can even see a little bit of redness on the knuckles and on the joints. These might just be some of my favourite third-party 1/6 scale hands, which seems weird to say, but sometimes they give us those super cheap and nasty, plasticky, waxy looking hands. These are definitely a breath of fresh air. What we are going to do now, though, is get Superman himself out here and take a closer look. Here we have him standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. And yeah, that is Black Suit Superman. Buy Art set out to make a Black Suit Supes before Hot Toys, and that's exactly what they achieved. And I think they did a commendable job. Their choice of body is interesting, and we'll touch on that more in a second, but overall, the suit looks great. The cape is something that I don't necessarily love, but it at the very least has some wires in it. The head sculpts I think are on point, specifically the Heat Vision one. But neither of them are that same reused BVS Superman head sculpt that Hot Toys has been using for years now, so I'm glad to see something different. What we are going to do now, though, is take him off the rotating turntable, punch in, and take a closer look at the details. Here we have him up close and personal. Now, going into this, I was perfectly prepared not to love this figure. I was content with getting the display base and using that with my Hot Toy Superman, and this guy was going to be my de facto Black Suit Supes for now. But honestly, now that I've spent a bit of time with him, I'm starting to really like this figure. Now, we've discussed the head sculpts earlier, but it's worth talking about this one in particular on the body, and then we'll switch it out to look at the Heat Vision sculpt, because that one might just be my favourite out of the two. Now, the size is on point. It's not too big, it's not too small, and we've already discussed the expression, but it's worth noting that with the black suit, it looks all kinds of mean. I'm super glad that they gave us some brand new sculpts rather than simply recasting someone else's work. At the very least, I think that's what they've done. Now, the body is massive, which we have discussed in the previous clip. This is the World Box body, meaning it is going to be a lot bigger than what you'd normally expect from a Hot Toys version of Superman. Does that bother me? No, not really. I don't mind my Superman being this big, but it may bother you, so it is something to be aware of. Now let's talk about the cape for a moment. Number one, the colour is wrong. This is supposed to be a charcoal grey rather than this nice jet black. It works and it drapes fairly nicely, but it's not accurate. You do have some wires around the outside edge, but they kind of get in the way more than they help you out. So I would just try and pose the cape and not worry too much about the wires. The suit itself looks and feels awesome. If you happen to have a spare BVS or Justice League Superman body lying around, I reckon you could totally take this suit off, pop it on a Hot Toys body, and it would look $1,000,000. It's a real fabric suit with the screen printing over the top. You do have a separate S shield, and it does have the scripture running through the middle, which I know is a little bit thicker than what we get from Hot Toys, but at the very least this is a rubbery piece, so it does flex and move with the body, rather than the Hot Toys one, which is a solid hunk that can't unfortunately move at all. Now coming down to the legs, he does have that same age-old issue that even the Hot Toys Superman has, the bunching at the ankles. Yes, you can pull the boots up, and then it eliminates it a little bit, but then the outfit itself starts to bunch in its place. Honestly, I wish they would figure out how to do away with this ugly bunching at the ankle. I know it does allow for more articulation, but surely there is something that can be done. I do like that they are the accurate charcoal grey colour. It should be the same colour as the cape, but as you can see, the cape is clearly black, and these are clearly charcoal. But if you are wondering what the Heat Vision head sculpt looks like on the body, there you have it, and oh yes, I am loving the way this looks. I know, as we discussed, the expression is slightly goofy, but even Infinity Studio, who are making a life-size bust of Black Suit Supes, use an expression very similar to this, because it is faithful to what he kind of looked like when he was doing the Heat Vision blast on Steppenwolf. So for me, yeah, it fits in well, it looks great, and I think in my display, this is the one I'm going to go with. Now for a quick side-by-side comparison, here we have the Hot Toys Justice League Superman on the right, and the Bi-Art Black Suit Transcendent figure on the left. And as you can see, Transcendent is a lot taller. That's down to their choice of body. The World Box body that they've gone with is huge, and that's why you're seeing some added height and a little bit of added bulk, although I don't think any 1/6 scale body has anything on the thighs on the Justice League Superman. They are massive, but nevertheless, yes, there is a height difference. That means this guy is going to be the tallest figure in your Justice League lineup if you do go down the road of picking him up. For me, I am perfectly happy to wait for the Black Suit Superman, but I thought I may as well get him number one for that awesome diorama display base, but also for those of you all out there contemplating picking this guy up. He is cheaper than the Hot Toys alternative, and you do get two brand new head sculpts compared to the Hot Toys one, which reuses, again, the BVS sculpt. Either way, yeah, no matter which one you go with, you're gonna have a pretty darn good Superman in your collection. Just going over articulation. Now bear in mind, this is my personal copy of the figure, so I'm gonna be a little bit more careful. I'm sure when you get yours in hand, you can push the joints slightly further than I'm willing to go. Now, starting off with the head sculpt, it is on a fixed neck. There's a ball joint at the base of the head. It goes forward to about there, goes back to there, swivel, then pivot side to side. The arms go up to there. They will go forward and back. There's a tiny amount of butterfly at the shoulder. You don't have any swivel in the bicep, but you do have a single bend at the elbow, and that's where you get all your swivel. We do of course have a regular 1/6 scale wrist peg. We do have two joints at the torso, one at the midsection, then another at the waist. Crunching forward is severely restricted due to the rubbery overlay on top. You do however have swivel and then pivot side to side. The legs go forward to there, they will go out to there, swivel at the upper thigh, a double bend at the knee that goes to 90, and lastly a ball joint down here for the ankle. Just wrapping up on the Bi-Art Black Suit Superman. Now going into this, I was a little bit wary because I didn't know what to expect. I liked, but I didn't love their original release, just the normal Superman. This one, on the other hand, brings a ton of improvements. The body is good, just as it was with the 1.0, but this time the suit I think looks even better. You can see that the body is painted a metallic silver underneath, so when the suit stretches over the muscles, it shines through, just like the real screen-used suit did. They've added wires to the cape this time. Even though the cape itself is the wrong color, I still love to see wires. They're not the greatest wires, but they get the job done. I also like the screen-accurate charcoal boots. And then we get to the head sculpts. They are a huge upgrade over the 1.0. That one used recasted Hot Toys head sculpts. I'm not exactly sure where they got these sculpts from. If they developed them in-house, then kudos to BuyArt, because these are fantastic. All the way down to the paint applications and the light up feature, which unfortunately it turns out dies very quickly if you use the batteries they include. But by far the coolest thing with this set is the display base. It's the Hall of Justice in ruins. Plus, you get a magnetic dynamic flight stand, the likes of which I have never seen before. The magnets are super sturdy, enough that you can actually hold up this very heavy Superman figure, so I'm hoping going forward other companies also experiment with magnets. But the best part is, I now have this broken down Hall of Justice display base to display my third-party Nightmare Joker, my Hot Toys Nightmare Batman, the Toys era Nightmare Flash. I'm pretty sure you can see where I'm going. I've set the scene. I can now put all of my Nightmare characters together to create that moment from the film, which I'm really excited to do. Now, I got my soups from Comic Sanctorum. Do bear in mind, this is third-party. It's unlicensed, it's unofficial product. I have put the link in the description below for your reference purposes only. While you're down there, check out the link to 6 Scale Network, the Facebook group. Come along, chat figures, share photos of your collection, and of course, see what's coming up next on the channel. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video. Hot Toys has been